Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Connor Riley hired as Cowboys offensive line coach. It looks as if business may not simply be picking up for the Dallas Cowboys rushing attack in 2025 and beyond, but specifically for a couple of offensive players in particular, as the team has hired Connor Riley to Brian Schottenheimer's staff as offensive line coach. Riley hails from Kansas State and, yes, coached both Cooper Beebe and Deuce Vaughn in his time with the Wildcats, and he's heralded as one of the top offensive minds and coaches in the country. To that point, Vaughn produced a mind-bending 4,884 yards from scrimmage and 43 touchdowns, dominating as both a pure running back, 109.7 rushing yards per game in his final 2 seasons, and as a wide receiver out of the backfield, 31.3 receiving yards per game and 9.3 yards per reception in his final 2 seasons, over the course of only 37 games under Riley's scheme, and, as it stands, there is much to be determined at the position in Dallas, clearing a path for Vaughn to finally make an impact. Time will indeed tell the full story of what's being pieced together in Dallas, but it's already clear that the Cowboys are hellbent on surrounding their first-time head coach with a lot of firepower on his coaching staff. Dallas Cowboys make shocking pick in new 2025 NFL mock draft. When it comes to the 2025 NFL Draft, the Draftniks and analysts appear to have come to a consensus that the Dallas Cowboys will go one of 2 ways in the first round. You have the belief that the Cowboys will either select Boise State star running back and Heisman Trophy runner-up Ashton Jeanty or Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden III, but a new mock draft takes a different route. Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports released his first mock of the draft season and has the Cowboys making a pick out of left field at number 12 overall. Fornelli slates Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membou to Dallas to give the team another big body in the trenches. Membou has a lot of the physical traits teams love at the tackle position, and he's an impressive athlete for a player his size, he writes. I don't think he steps in as a rookie and excels, but there's the potential for a franchise left tackle and perennial Pro Bowler in there. While the pick may not be a sexy one for Cowboys Nation, it does make sense when you digest the shock factor. With a new coaching staff that appears to have a strong interest in dedicating itself to the running game, adding a potential perennial Pro Bowler is enticing. You could also bump last year's first-round Tyler Guyton inside or to his natural right tackle position. And when you make quarterback Dak Prescott the highest-paid player in the league, you better do your best to protect him. So while it may not be a shiny toy, sometimes you have to stick to old reliable. The 2025 NFL Draft will be held in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with the first round on Thursday, April 24th. Rounds 2 and 3 will be held on Friday, April 25th, while the final rounds will play out on Saturday, April 26th. Reuniting wide receiver DK Metcalf with Brian Schottenheimer via trade makes sense for Cowboys. Rumors and speculation. Between now and the start of the new league year and free agency, March 12th, that is the basis of the offseason we are heading into. Should the Dallas Cowboys trade for such and such player? Should they sign such and such free agent? Who will they select in the 2025 NFL Draft? With very little concrete evidence, rumors and speculation is just about the only thing we have to go on right now. That means we can pretty much throw caution to the wind and suggest moves the Cowboys should make that may be simply pipe dreams. Such is the case with the current trade rumors around the Seattle Seahawks and star wide receiver DK Metcalf, who could be dealt via trade. This rumor is loosely based upon the Seahawks' need to create more salary cap space and the fact Metcalf is entering the final year of his contract. By trading DK Metcalf after June 1st, the Seahawks can save over $18 million against the salary cap. What kind of draft capital they would expect to return though is a bit of the mystery right now. But Tom Pelissero at NFL Network guesstimated what Metcalf's trade value could be in a recent radio interview. With the other big trades we've seen with wide receivers in recent years, we've seen everything from basically a second-round pick to a fourth-round pick. I would think DK, as young as he is, would be pushing toward the high end of that. Maybe you can get a first-round pick for him, especially because this year is not a super deep group of free agent wide receivers. A first or second-round pick for a 27-year-old wide receiver who is still in the prime of his career and has at least 50 receptions for 900 receiving yards every season in his 6 years in the league. That definitely sounds reasonable, but would the Cowboys be willing to part with that kind of draft capital to acquire Metcalf services via trade? The simple answer should be yes, but with the Cowboys you never know. With a thin free agent market and a not very deep 2025 wide receiver draft class, trading for a known commodity like DK Metcalf would be worth whatever premium pick Dallas would have to part with. What Jerry Jones and company thinks though could be different. We also have to consider the fact that DK Metcalf is in the last year of his contract and will want an extension if he is traded. That could ultimately dissuade Dallas from trying to facilitate this trade when combined with the premium draft picks that would be included. But it never hurts to at least pick up the phone to see what Seattle's asking. Whatever the case, DK Metcalf would be a perfect fit in Dallas, especially with Brian Schottenheimer taking over the play-calling duty. Not only would Metcalf be an ideal wide receiver 2 to pair with CeeDee Lamb, creating the best receivers duo in the league, but he already has a working relationship with Schottenheimer dating back to their days together in Seattle. Schottenheimer was Seattle's offensive coordinator in Metcalf's first 2 seasons in the league. As a rookie he caught 58 passes for 900 yards and 7 touchdowns and had a career best in his sophomore season hauling in 83 receptions for 1,303 yards and 10 touchdowns in Schottenheimer's last year with Seahawks. The Cowboys love familiarity, and reuniting DK Metcalf with Brian Schottenheimer makes sense from that standpoint. Maybe that link will be enough to facilitate this trade. All we can do now is to sit back and wait to see how all of this plays out. It could be nothing more than one of the many pipe dreams suggested for the Cowboys this offseason.